Hey everyone, it's Adam Mitchell here, and we are back with another trade recap. And this is actually recap number 2 for today because I wound up coming back in the afternoon and taking some more trades on MGAM because we got some afternoon momentum on that stock. So I had first ended the day up $68, but we can see here that I'm up 72. I was up $92, but I wound up stopping out for my max loss on my last trade. So I'm only ending up 72, but that's good. I'm really happy with that. I hit my profit target for the day, and what more could I ask for? So yeah, I am going to recap those trades at the end of my first video that I took. And yeah, so we're gonna look at all those trades. So let's get into the video here. Hey everyone, it's Adam Mitchell here with Treasure Trading, and we are back with another trade recap. And man, I hit the profit target this morning. I'm ending the day up $68. I'm pleased that I hit the profit target, but it's only one day. This is something that I need to be able to do every single day. And I know hearing that, some people might think, man, well, you're not going to make money every day. You're not going to hit your profit target every day. And yeah, I can understand that. But at the same time, I know that there is so much opportunity in the market to hit my profit target every single day that I should be able to hit my profit target every single day. And today I was able to do it. But, like I said, it's only one day. I need to prove that I can do this consistently. So yeah, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like. And yeah, let's get into today's trades. So I'm ending the day up $68. I traded 4 stocks: BCAN, MEDS, MGAM, and VRAX. And, all of these stocks were on my Gap scanner. So that's where I get most of my stocks from, is the Gap scanner. But yeah, let's get into my trades here. Okay, so my first trade was on VRAX. So as we can see, pre-market, it made this really big move. And I have these levels mapped out here. And price is coming down into this level here where I have my order, which is about 350. I have my order at 351, just 1 penny above that level. And, that level corresponds with this pivot level back here. And so I'm thinking that we're going to get a dip down into 350, and then we're going to get a ramp back up. So let's see what happens. So there we go. Right there, I got filled, and we're getting a pop up. Right? So, this is exactly what I wanted to see. We dipped, and now we're popping up. And I ultimately want to see it come all the way up here to 378. But I don't hold it that long. And right in here, we can see that I sold my position. I locked up $12 of profit at about 360. And, you could think that I sold that early, right? I mean, I would have sold it early if it would have continued to rip up. But that's not what it does. So here we're looking at the 1 minute time frame, and it's starting to drop off again. And right here, it's right between VWAP and that 350 mark. So it's at 347. VWAP is at 334. And we're kind of just hanging out in this area here. And off of that level, we get another ramp to the upside. So that could have been a good opportunity to make some money. But then we back off, and now I have my order out here again because this thing is showing strength. So I'm thinking that I'm going to get back in at a level of support. So I have my order out there again at 351 with 150 shares. So right there, we came down and my order got filled. And now I'm looking for this thing to really ramp up again. But right there, I went ahead and sold it because it wasn't really giving that ramp up when I wanted it to. So now I'm up $17 on the day, which isn't bad. I'm working my way up to the profit target. And as we can see, it starts to sell off again. But let's see what my next trade was. So I'm continuing to keep VRAX on the watch, and now I have another order set at this support level right here at 330. I have my order placed at 331, and I'm just looking for this thing to come down into this level and then make its curl back up. So we'll come back to this because my next trade was on MEDS. So MEDS, made this move up from 124 up to 140. And now we are pulling back on the 1 minute, and we're coming into this support level. And I jump in with 300 shares at 133. And I'm looking for this thing to make a move back up to the highs. So we're getting a bit of a bigger pullback, but I'm not really down that much. My max loss per trade is $20. So I'm thinking, all right, I can give this thing more room. So I'm going to hold it and see what it does. So we got a little bit of a bigger pullback down to 128, but it's getting bought up off that level. And there we go again. We tap 128 again. And now we have a double bottom. Well, we actually have a triple bottom because the low of this candle right here is also 128, 128, 128. So we have a triple flat bottom right here. So I'm still holding it. I'm down, about 12 bucks on this trade right now, but that's not my max loss. So I'm still holding it to see what it's going to do. So we're starting to curl back up off that level, and we're starting to make a bigger push up. And, my entry was at 133. So now we're back up near my entry. I mean, yeah, it would have been better to get the entry down here. And maybe if I noticed that there was a double bottom right here on this candle and then on this candle, by this candle, I could have noticed that and bought. That's just a side note. But yeah, let's see what happens. So it's starting to get that push to the upside. I'll press play on this. So we're coming up into 135, and I'm waiting for it to break and squeeze up. And so I went ahead and sold it right there. I don't know why I sold it right there and why I didn't wait for it to actually get up to the highs. I sold it at 136. So I was able to lock up, about $9 to $10 on that trade, but I don't know why I went ahead and sold it at that level. So I left about another $10 on the table by selling it early. But yeah, so that's my MEDS trade. And, this stock winds up making a decent rip up. I'll go ahead and pull the chart up on that so we can see what it did. So here we go, pulling up the chart here. We can see that it wound up making a bigger move up to 147, right? So I bought it, like right here at 133. It dipped down again, made this bottom here, and then off that level, it ramped up. And I sold it like right here at 136. I could have at least held it in the high of day, That's what I should have done. And then it continued to squeeze up. So I left some money on the table with this one. I left at least another $10 on this trade. So yeah, that's my MEDS trade. All right, so shifting gears back to VRAX. So this thing, made this nasty flush, and it came down close to the level that I had mapped out. It came into the low of this level right here pre-market at around 332, 333, but I had my order placed, closer to 330. So it didn't quite pull back all the way to where I wanted it to. And, off that level, it squeezed up, and now we're coming into this 350 mark, but let's see what continues to happen. So I'm continuing to keep this on watch. It's starting to make its curl back down. And I'm thinking, man, this is where it kind of got a little bit tricky for me, because I was wanting to see a pullback into this level at 330, but the low back here was, I think, at 333. So I'm thinking, all right, maybe we'll pull back to 333, maybe 334, but I really want to see a pullback to 330. But, we'll see what happens here. Okay, so right here, it starts to make that bigger pullback. It came down into a low of 336, and I have my order out here at 332. So I'm wanting to see it flush down and touch my order and then start to make the curl up. But that's not what happens. It actually winds up curling up off of this level. And so at this point, we can start to see that it's, really curled up off that level. And now we have a pattern. We have an ABCD pattern, right? We got A, B, C, and then D is going to be that big ramp up. And I noticed that it's about to break out of the pivot level in the ABCD pattern, as well as potentially break 350. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take this breakout. I'm going to take this breakout setup and we'll see what happens. So I'm going to press play on this so we can watch it happen, because this was a really interesting move that happened on this. So we're coming up into that level. I'm noticing that it's probably about to break. And boom, I press buy, and then instantly it starts to squeeze up like crazy. Like, oh my gosh. And so I went ahead and sold it up here at around 362. And as we can see, it wound up ramping up all the way to 375. So, you know, I'm giving myself a pat on the back for getting that move, because that was so fast. And now we're all the way back down to 350 again. Man, it happened so quickly. And now I'm up in total $37 on this stock. So I'm like, all right, man, we're doing good. We're making our way up to the profit target. Let's just keep trading well, keep managing risk, taking good trades. Let's see what we can make happen here. So let's see what continues to happen. So it's, you know, holding up, and it winds up ramping back up kind of near the highs again. You know, but let's see what my next trade was on the day. All right, so I'm not quite sure where the footage is. I think I took this trade off screen, but this is MGAM. I lost, you know, $8 to $9 on this stock, and the trade that I took was right in this area here. So we had this ramp up, and then we have this pullback into the $3 range, and I bought 200 shares at $3, and I see that it's not holding up, so I just sold it, and I lost about $8 on that trade, and you know, it just continued to flush down. So yeah, so that was my MGAM trade. But yeah, let's see what continues to happen throughout the morning here. But yeah, like we can see, this is the 5-minute chart. So we had gotten this pullback into the $3 range, and we couldn't hold it. So I said, screw it. I'm just going to go ahead and sell it. So yeah, that's what happened. So, all right, so let's get into my next trade here. All right, BCAN. Man, I missed a lot of profit on BCAN. I was considering taking it right in this area here, and then for the break of this level right here, so at around somewhere between 650 and 675, I was considering taking it for that ramp up into these levels, right? Because I'm thinking, all right, we're holding up, we have these ascending lows, and we have a bit of an ABCD setup, so it seems like a smart trade to take. And we can see that it did wind up coming up into these levels, and then it backed off, presented a good dip buying opportunity, and now we ramped up into those levels again, which the good trader would be taking profit into these levels and then buying back if it breaks. So I was considering buying for the break of the 200 moving average in VWAP, and I didn't take it. And as we can see, you know, that was at about 718, would have been the approximate entry. And we squeezed up all the way to 774 and got halted. Okay, so we're halted now, and I'm going to be looking for a trade out of the halt, right? Because we have this line up here at about 815. So I'm thinking, all right, we're making our way up to $8. What I want to see on the resumption is a drop and then a ramp back up. So a dip and then a rip. So let's see what happens. Okay, so here's the resumption. It's dropping. It's dropping a little bit more, and there we go. I just bought into this thing at 764. Now, I took smaller size because, you know, this is a halt resumption. And, you know, these things can be really volatile, and we can get just massive moves to the downside after a stock has been halted. So I was being smart, and I took small size. I took 30 shares because I'm thinking that if we did get the move that I wanted, you know, I would have added nicely to my profit for the day. So I'm being smart, but yeah, let's see what winds up happening here. So I'm in 30 shares at 764. And I went ahead and sold it because it wasn't making that ramp up. And then, looking at the 1 minute here, it did look like it needed to pull back. And now this is where I kind of took a bad entry, because the smart entry would have been to take it closer to this level down here, to the support level at about 720. We have the 9 moving average, we have the 200 moving average, and we have VWAP, right? So that would have been the better entry. We can see right here that we got that dip into that 720 level. It came down to about 732. So it didn't quite make it all the way down to 720, but we have a decent pullback right here. So I go ahead and I get in with another 30 shares at 750, because now I'm thinking that we are going to get that rip up to $8. And we can see here that I have these levels mapped out from pre-market. I have this low mapped out here, and then I have this high mapped out here. So I'm thinking that we are going to come up into this level, at least test 8. Yeah, we came up into 798, but I'm thinking that we're going to break 8, So I got back in at 750 with 30 shares. And we can see, so right there, I went ahead and sold it. Again, I sold this thing early, and I'm up about $10 on this trade right now. And this thing, let's see what it does. So this is the 1 minute time frame, right? So we have this ramp up, and we have this really nice pullback into the support level, which that would have been the better place to buy. And I wound up buying it, around 750. But this is looking really good for a ramp up into these levels up here at around 820. So let's see what happens here. So this is interesting. This is interesting because I almost took this entry right here, and I'm going to talk about it for a second, because I think price moved consistent with how I view it. And so let's see what happens here. I'm going to press play. So the high of this candle right here was 775. So you would think, all right, for the break of 775, I should be getting in. So 776. Well, I've said it before, when it's 1 penny, it's still the same price. It's not really a full break yet. So the better entry would be at 777. So let's see here. I'm going to fast forward this a little bit. Okay, I'm going to press play right here. So we're coming up into 775 again. We just double tapped it at 775. And there we go. So we just tapped 776. Now, you could have placed your order at 776 and then watched this thing flush. But I was thinking that the better entry would have been at 777, and that's where I should have got in, but I just didn't take it. Hold on, let me press play here. So we tapped 776. Okay, boom, there's the actual break. 777 would have been the better entry. And now we're holding above that level. Well, we're kind of dipping down a little bit, but I'm thinking that because we have this break, this clear break, that this thing's looking really good for that push up into this target. All right, so there we go. So we just broke up through that level. We hit a high of 820. Now I'm sitting here thinking, all right, we broke that level. We're backing off of it pretty heavily. But I'm thinking that if we ramp back up and get above 820, then we're going to continue higher. So let's see here. So as we can see, I have my order at 822 because I don't want to buy for a 1 penny break. I want that 2 penny break. So, but now I'm getting aggressive. I've got 60 shares now to buy at 822. I'm going to press play now so we can watch it happen. So there we go. I just got filled. It's holding up. I've got 60 shares. Maybe I'm in with too big of size, you know? Okay, so now we're starting to get a squeeze up. Let's see if it can hold. Here we go. We're getting a ramp up. I'm selling some. I sold some, I think, at 840. We came up into 850. And I'm thinking, all right, 850, we're not going to break it. But we do break it. We come up into 861. And I think that's all the higher this thing went. So I'm going to press pause. And as we can see, I'm up about $20 now on the stock. But let's pull up the chart and see what it did and see if it's done anything since I started recording my video. So let's see here. So wow, we're back down to 680. Oh my gosh. So look at that, man. Off of these levels at around 850, we really made a big sell-off. And then we came down into this level here that I have mapped out, made a nice bounce off of it from 660 all the way back up to 740, which this would have been a good move to be in on. And as we can see, we're kind of bouncing off it again. We're holding above it, but this is what it did. It went from 860 all the way down to 660. That's $2 a share. That's a 25% pullback off the highs, about 25%, man. So, there was a lot of money to be made on this stock. We have this nice break right here. We could have gotten this move up to 8. We could have gotten a better pullback entry right here. And then we could have been selling up into this level and then buying for this break again and then selling where I sold it. It's like, man, there's so much profit to be made on this move here. So yeah, so that was my BCAN trade. And then I took one more trade on VRAX. So let's take a look at that. And I think by the end of that trade, I was up $57 on the day. And I'm like, man, we're so close to my profit target, because my profit target is between $60 and $100 a day. And I'm just like, man, we're almost there. Let's not drop the ball. Let's be smart. $57 isn't nothing. We're right there. Let's be smart. So let's look at my last trade. Okay, so I switched gears back over to VRAX. So we can see, like, man, there's some really choppy price action, right? So this is the move that I got in on. And then it kind of grinded higher, and then boom, it flushed down really hard from 375 down to 335. And then off of that level, which was the low of day, basically, it came down into the low of day, kind of ramped up off that level and came up into 365. And so let's see what my last trade was. My last trade was like one of those sniper trades. It happened so fast. I was waiting for it. I got in and it ramped back up. So let's see here. I'm keeping it on watch. So right here, I just put this line in at this level because we have a flat top at 362. This candle was a high of 362, 362 here, 362 here, 362 here. But then we have these candles here that have highs at 364 and 364 on this candle as well. And then we have this natural area of resistance at 365 because the 65-cent mark for some reason is a natural area of resistance and profit taking and so on. So I'm thinking, man, we might get the break up, but I don't think it'll hold. So I'm not going to take it, but let's just see what happens here. So we're holding up still, and we're holding the 9 moving average, and we're looking like we want to break to the upside here. Okay, so I'm going to press play on this so we can see how this played out. So we're coming up into these levels. Okay, now we got the break. But boom, it's a hard sell-off, and now I'm looking to get in at 350. Because we have all of this support down here. So I'm thinking that if we come into that level, it's going to be a good place to buy. So boom, we come into that level, I press buy, and man, look at that ramp up. Now, I sold it early. Like, we saw where I sold it. I could have held out for just a little bit longer, but I didn't. I left maybe, I'd say maybe $10 to $15 on the table. But man, that was such a cool trade. And so that put me up $47 on that stock. And that put me above my profit target, or that put me within my profit target at $68. Yeah, it's at the lower end of my profit target range, but I fell within it. And, I still have decent amount of buying power left for the day, but I was like, dude, you hit your profit target. You did exactly what you need to do. And so if I can consistently land above $60, maybe I'll start trading a little bit longer and see if I can land closer to 70 and closer to 80, closer to 100. But yeah, I mean, that was such a quick trade and it worked out so nicely. But yeah, so those are all of my trades. Let's see what VRAX wound up doing. All right, so VRAX. So this was my last trade on it for this dip and this rip, and then off that levels, it's just been selling off. Okay, so I started recording MGAM. So like I said earlier, I had lost about $8 on this stock, but we can see here that we are, making a move up, here in the afternoon, and we're coming up into the pre-market highs. And so I'm thinking that if we start to break those levels, we might get a pretty big squeeze. So let's see what happens here. Let's see what my first trade is in the afternoon here. Okay, so right here, we can see that we got this dip down into the $3 range and down into VWAP. And I bought 200 shares at 309. And now I'm like, all right, I think I'm in a good position. Let's see if we can get that squeeze up back up to 330. And then maybe we can break the pre-market highs. So I wound up stopping out of that trade break even. I'm not really sure why. I just sold it early. Because we can see here that it kind of is curling back up a little bit. Now we're up at 312, 313. And see, now we're really squeezing up. Now we're at 316. We're coming up into this 320 level. So now, on the 1 minute chart, we see that there's this triple top right here. I think it was at 316. So I'm thinking that if we break this 316 level and then break 319 and 320, then we might start to see that big rip to the upside. So here we go. I'm still looking at it, waiting for that rip up. And, we have a very obvious flat top right here. And I'm waiting for it to break. So there we go. I just got in with 50 shares at 317. And we're not, and we weren't really holding up, so I sold it. But now we are holding up, and now I got back in. And now I'm in with 100 shares at 319. And now we're looking like we're about to start to make that ramp up. So here we go. We're coming up in the high of day, and I go ahead and sell it, right? Because we're coming up in the high of day, and I'm not sure if we're going to break it. So I'm going to take profit into that level. And now I have another order out here to buy for the break of 330. So I'm going to press play on this because it happens kind of quickly, this breakout. So here we go. We're starting to make that squeeze up, and boom, I got filled, and then boom, we just start ramping up pretty quickly. And we hit 345, and I'm like, man, I'm up like $10 right now, right? 347. So we're coming up into that 350 mark, and I'm thinking that we're probably going to have a hard time breaking that right now. So I go ahead and sell. And so I went from being down 8 to being up almost 10. So that's like an $18 swing there. And that's good. I mean, that's some good profit right there. Like, I'm really pleased with that. But let's see what continues to happen, because I wind up taking a loss. So I'm looking at this thing for the break of 350. And so it looks like we're getting a bit of a pullback. And I just keep getting in and out with like 100 shares. And let's see here. So this was a good dip entry right here for this dip down into 336. I should have held it for the retest of the highs, but I wound up selling it kind of early, because we can see it squeezing up. But, now we can see that I'm up $15 now on the stock. And it's looking like we're about to break up through 350. So I'm getting ready to buy. And let's see what happens here. So right there, we got the break. I decided to buy 200 shares at 350. And we came up into 353. But we wound up backing off that level pretty hard, and I just went ahead and sold it. And now I'm back down $4. So I lost $20 on that trade. And yeah, so that's where I ended $72 on the day. So yeah, I'm gonna cut back to my original recap video. So yeah, so those were my afternoon trades right there. Oh man, so today was very volatile, you know, but there was opportunity. There was really good opportunity to make decent gains. And I'm really glad that I am ending the day up, you know, $68. I hit my profit target, and that's awesome. So yeah, I'm hoping to continue this for the rest of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, hitting that profit target. So we'll see what happens. And again, if you guys like these videos, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, and please like this video. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.